Another way to implement this grading logic is to use the switch statement, which is actually much cleaner and much efficient. The switch statement takes a single expression, which could be a variable, and then it will execute the block of code that matches the value of that expression. So let's try to rewrite this using the switch statement so I can explain more to make you understand what I'm talking about. So using the same conditions that we have defined here, we are now going to write a switch statement. All right, I'm going to comment out this. So our score here is equal to 35, which is an integer. So it's score, open and close curly braces. And then inside of the switch statement, what we do usually is to use different cases. So we're going to say first case. Our first case is 10. If you get 10 means you are in the 100 category. So immediately after the case keyword, you specify the specific value that you want to evaluate. In this case, we want to evaluate 10. And then come down to a new line and say grade is equal to A. And after that, we break out of the statement. So if the value of score is 10, we set grade equal to A, and then next, define another case, and then this case will be 9. So actually we can define 9 and 10 using just one line of code. So we can say if the case is either 9 or 10, we say A. And then the next one will define 8. Then the next case will be 7. 7, we set grade equal to C. And then case 6, set grade equal to D. Otherwise, remember, if we're using the if statement, we're going to say S right now. But for the switch statement, we use the default keyword. If the value doesn't match any of the case that we have specified here, we want you to just do this. So we want to say set grade equal to F. So let's look at the switch statement again. We are saying switch score. If the value of score here is 9 or 10, we set grade equal to A, and then we stop checking. We don't continue checking. If the value is 8, we set grade equal to B, stop checking. If the value is 7, set grade equal to C, and then we stop checking. Value is 6, set grade equal to D, and then we stop checking. Otherwise, set grade equal to F. So there's one more thing that we need to do to make this work. If you look at the value here, score is 35. And all of the cases that we have here, none is 35. If you remember the way that we handled this situation in using the if-else statement here was to check if score is within a certain range and score is not within a certain range. But using the switch statement, what we can do here is to actually divide whatever is in the score by 10. So for instance, our score is 35 here, just divide it by 10. So whatever we get, we're going to check if it matches any of the case that we'll define here. And then with this, we still have one more problem, because when we divide 35 by 10, we're not going to get an whole number. So just to illustrate that, let's echo score and then just exit out. All right, so we get 3.5. But what we really want is an whole number. So the way to do this is to use one of the inbuilt PHP constructs. So we're going to say int var, which means give me an integer value when you finish this expression. So give me an integer value when you finish dividing 35 by 10. Take this and echo score, exit. Refresh, now we get 3. So with this, we can then continue to run the switch statement. All right, I'm going to set score to 92, and then let's do a refresh and see what we get now. Do a refresh, we're getting A, because 92 divided by 10, when we get the integer value, it's going to be 9, which falls within the first case statement. So if I change this to 87, we are going to get a B. And then if this is 50, we're going to get an F. All right, so what if we want to expand the scope of our condition? And for that, we want to check something like this. We want to say if your score is between 90 to 95, your grade should be A minus. And then if your score is between 96 to 100, you should get an A plus. And next, we say if your grade is between 80 to 85, you get a B minus. If your grade is between 86 to 89, you get a B plus, and so on. So if we're going to do this using if, else statement, we're going to have a very long block of code. But using the switch statement, we can achieve this with two simple switch blocks. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So just imagine what we are going to do. From what we have done here, we are only taking the integer value when we divide the score by 10. So which means if your score is 95, we only make use of 9 and then we don't make use of the 5. But now, since we are going to check if you're A plus or A minus, the remainder is now important to us. So I'll create a new variable here called this remaining. This should be equal to 50 modulus 10, which means when I divide 50 with 10, what is the remainder? So I want to store the remainder inside of this variable. Obviously, the remainder here will be 0. But if we have something like 57, the remainder is going to be 7. So we're not going to do anything to the first switch statement that we wrote here. This is still going to be able to handle the situation that we want to now check. So what we need to do is to create another switch statement. So I'm going to say switch. This time what we want to switch will be remaining. And then we're just going to define few cases. Let's start by defining the cases for plus. So we're going to say case if remainder is 9, or we could start from 10, okay? 10, and then case 9, and then case 8, and then case 7, and then case 6. All right, let me put spaces here to make it clearer. So if the remainder is between any of these, we are just going to concatenate the string plus to grade. So we're going to say grade dot equal. Then don't forget, add the break statement here. And then we define cases for the minus. So 0 will be the first one. Then we have case 1, case 2, case 3, and then we say grade dot equal minus. Then we break out. All right, for this we don't need to use any default statement. All right, let me put a space here. But if you want to really match this, because we're saying 90 to 95, so you can just include the two more cases that are missing. You can include case 4 and then case 5. All right, so let's do a refresh now. All right, so we get F plus. So let's change this to 97, then change this to 97. Do a refresh. See, this is A plus. Change the value to 72, then change this to 72. Let's do a refresh. See, we get C minus. So this is the basic way to use the switch statement. We give it a single expression, which could be a variable, and then we define different cases. So whichever case has a value matching the value of the expression, that is the case that will be executed. And then for each case, we need to end it with the break statement. Otherwise, even if it gets a matching value, it's going to continue execution. So if I just remove this, for instance, and then remove this, and then remove this, let's see what will be the effect of this if we have a value of 99. Refresh on the browser. See, we get F plus. Because even if 99 match the first case that we have here, it will just continue executing. So always remember to use the break statement so your program doesn't continue execution even if a match has been found. Just going to undo all of that. So to wrap up this section, we are going to write a simple script that will help us to check if a given year is a leap year. And then we're also going to create a simple random number guessing game. So let's start with the first one. I'm going to comment out all of these. and also comment out all of this. All right, so first thing that we need to do, as it is whenever you are given any programming challenge, you need to first of all look at the challenge that you're given and then define what conditions need to be true in order for you to solve this problem. So in this case, we want to write a little script to help us check a given year if it is a leap year. To determine a leap year, the value must satisfy some conditions. So the first condition that we check is for a year to be a leap year, that means it can be divided by 4 without a remainder. So it is divisible by 4, but not by 100. It is said to be a leap year. Or if the year is divisible by 400. Divisible by 4, but not 100. Or divisible by 400. So let's say we have a given year, which is 2008. So there are a couple of ways that we can write this. If year modulus 4, okay, remember modulus will divide year by 4 and then give us the remainder. So we're going to say if the remainder is equal to 0 and year modulus 100, the remainder is not equal to 0. Okay, so remember the condition, not by 100, divisible by 4, but not by 100. So we say not equal to 0. This 2 is wrapped as one specific condition. All right, so if this is true, we can say echo, it is a leap year. Okay, so we can actually just concatenate the value here. As if year modulus 400 is equal to 0. So this is the second condition. We say echo, year is a leap year. As year is not a leap year. So this will be one way for us to write this, okay? If we refresh on the browser, 2008 is a leap year. What if we have 2009? Say 2009 is not a leap year. So, but this code that we have here can be actually further simplified. For example, in the first case, we want to see if a number is divisible by 4, but not 100, or divisible by 400. Okay, so I show you this way first. Open and close bracket, and then paste this code in. Then we can actually now remove this part. So we are saying if this is true, the result of this expression is true, or the result of this expression is true. So this and this are both independent expressions. And then the operator that you have here is the OR logical operator. We can actually use OR like this, which will still give us the same result. So let's do a refresh again on the browser. Still get 2009 is not a leap year. And then if we say 2008, we still get the same result. 2008 is a leap year. The result of all of this expression that we have on line 52 is just one value, true or false. So I can take all of this code and just assign it to a variable. So let's say this variable is called is leap year. So what we have here now is going to be true or false. So we can then just say if is leap year, echo year is a leap year, otherwise echo this. So we still get the exact same result. What I'm trying to illustrate is line 53 here, that we're assigning the result of all of this expression to this variable is leap year, is a much cleaner way to write programs, because we already know that the end result is a true or false. So we can actually do this using one line of code. And then we can pass this is leap year variable to our template. So if we don't want to display it here, for example, so we can just take this, then go over to template file, then come here, PHP, and you say if is leap year, end it with a semicolon, S, and then and if it is a leap year, then here we say it is not a leap year. So if you want to make use of the value of the year variable, so same thing we've done previously, just echo it using the shorthand year. All right, so we say year is a leap year, year is not a leap year. Refresh on the browser, see 2008 is a leap year. Going to comment out all of this. And then for our guessing game, we're going to say random. This is going to be our random number. It's equal to round. It's a PHP function that can generate random number for us. If we do specify minimum and maximum value, it will generate numbers in between the value that we specify. If we don't, it can generate any given set of numbers. So here we want to generate a random number between 1 and 5, and then immediately multiply that number by 10. So whatever we have here, we multiply it by 10. Okay, so this should be random. And then we're going to ask the user to guess a number. Okay, so we're going to make it very, very basic. So we say guess equal to, I'm going to show you something new, okay, which we have not yet talked about, but we'll be talking about this extensively in a later lecture. So this is equal to guess. So using this is actually a way to get whatever query string we have in the URL. Okay, so we store whatever number the user entered through the browser URL in this variable guess. And then inside of our template, we can just do our simple if statement. So we're going to say if random is equal to guess. And then we are just going to say, put random here. You got it right. Random number is random. And then if the user doesn't get it, just come in and say, you didn't get it. So here we just say, oh no, random number is this. Okay, so in order to make this work, if I just go over here now and do a refresh, we're going to get an error. We need to pass a value through the URL. So we're going to use the question mark and then specify the key that we define inside of our code. If you look here, inside of the get super global variable, I have the key guess. Okay, so if we come to the browser, we need to specify the key guess and then give it a value. So in this case, I'm going to say guess is equal to 30. All right, so just reload the page. And then we say, oh no, random number is 20. So the random number that was generated is 20. So let's keep refreshing. You got it right. Random number is 30. Do it again. All right, so until you say random number is 30. So if we change this to 50, keep guessing. All right, so we also get it right. Random number is 50. So this is our simple guessing game, very basic, but at least you get the idea of how to work with both the if statement and the switch statement in the series of lessons that we have covered.